Today, we're going to talk about purchasing new developments in New York City. What they are, what you should expect, what you should know before purchasing. We're going to get into all of it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Living in NYC. My name is Alayna Hoschak. If you're new here, I am a real estate agent in New York City. I help people just like you on a daily basis, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in the city. If you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, I'm here to help you. Definitely reach out and we can get your real estate journey started today. So what is considered a new development building in New York City? To be considered a new development building, it's either a building that's been newly constructed or a building under construction, where all the units are being sold off from the developer. Typically, you will find majority of the new developments are condominiums, but you do occasionally see some co-ops, condops, and townhouses that are being newly developed. One thing you will want to note is that people use words interchangeably when speaking about a developer or new development units. So you may hear them say it's a developer, or they may also refer to them as a sponsor. You might also hear the units being referred to as sponsor units. So those are all kind of interchangeable with each other, so that's something you definitely want to note. When purchasing in a new development, there are a few things you are definitely going to want to consider. The first is being closing costs. Closing costs, if you're familiar with a resale, for a new development, they do tend to be a little higher, and that is because of transfer taxes. So new developments, they have a lot of pros. One of the cons, you do have to pay the transfer tax. Now, we'll get into it a little bit later on how we can get around this, but definitely note closing costs are something you want to be informed on and be knowledgeable on when purchasing a new development. You also will want to consider agent representation. So agent representation, what I mean by this is all sponsors or developers, as we spoke previously, they hire a team of sales agents to sell out the entire building. So all of the sponsor units you are touring, the seller or the sponsor is having an agent represent them. You will want to ensure that a buyer's agent is representing you to ensure you are getting the best price possible, making sure you're informed on everything. So definitely have buyer representation. It's at no cost to you. It's a free resource. Definitely take advantage of it. Next, let's talk about the timeline of purchasing a new development. If you were to purchase a resale unit, typically when you're financing, it's 2 to 3 months before you close. This isn't always the case with a new development. For new developments, the developers do start selling the homes prior to the building being completed with construction. So the building could be just starting to be constructed, and they will actually start selling the units based off of floor plans and renderings that they show buyers. If you are to purchase before construction is done, you may have to have some patience, as different things like construction and certificate of occupancy can all delay your closing, and it can be pushed back because of that. So there are, again, pros to a new development. These are things you definitely want to be aware of up front when looking at new developments. However, when purchasing a new development, you can also sometimes get a very quick close. If your building has already completed the construction and it is fully built, there is no board approval, so you can get a quick close sometimes as soon as a week after you sign the contract. Financing can sometimes be tricky when purchasing in a new development. First, the offering plan for the building has to be declared effective, which this does not occur until they are at least 15% sold. So until 15% of the units in the building have been sold, the offering plan cannot be declared effective. If the building recently started construction, you should be aware that when you go to tour the home, you will not actually be touring the building itself. You most likely will be attending a sales office. So the sales office, you'll meet with the sales team. They'll go through a full sales presentation telling you about the building, the developers, the architects, the finishes in the homes, what you can expect with the amenities. There, they'll go through all the information, again, show you renderings, floor plan, and sometimes they even have some model kitchens or bathrooms to show you. But you definitely want to be aware of that up front, as it is very different to a resale where you're going to see the actual unit. Now, once construction is a little further along, you can definitely go to the building and then they will have a full model unit for you to check out. Again, maybe some of the other units aren't fully constructed yet, but the model unit gives you a very good idea of what your unit, or the one you're most interested in, will look like in the future once it's complete. Another thing to note is when you are looking online or speaking with your buyer's agent, not all of the units that you see online, there's typically more than what you see online. So new developments, they have, let's say, 100 units to sell. They're only actually going to put on the market 10 or 20 of the units, as they don't want to put 20 of the same one bedroom listed on the market. So when you go to tour the building, there's typically more units available than what you're seeing online. So if you see a floor plan or a home that you like on the 5th floor, they may actually have it available on the 10th floor once you go in person. So you do want to take that into consideration as well. If you see something just on a lower floor or see something just facing north, they may have other options once you actually go to the building. Lastly, new developments are unique compared to resale units because they have an extra walkthrough. It's what we call a punch list walkthrough with sponsor units, where you will go prior to your final walkthrough, prior to closing, and walk through with the sponsor's representative and look at any defects or anything that needs fixed in the apartment. They will write all this down, go back, get it all fixed, and just a day or two prior to closing, you'll do what's called your final walkthrough. This is when you'll go back to the unit and make sure that everything you listed on the punch list has now been fixed and that the home is in perfect condition for you to close. Another item I want to talk about today and make sure you're informed on is the offering plan. The offering plan is like a guidebook to buying your dream property. Let's break it down further. First up, the offering plan is your map to everything property related for the building. Whether you want all the details, location, size, layout, amenities, everything like that, you'll see in the offering plan. If you want the numbers, whether it be purchase price, monthly costs, or closing costs, that you can also find in the offering plan. You'll also want to take a look at the rules in the offering plan, whether it be pets, subletting, or other guidelines, they'll be in there. And last but not least, you definitely will review all of this with an attorney. It's a lot of information, a lot of it packed into a bunch of pages. An attorney who's very familiar with New York City offering plans will review it all with you. They'll also be able to go over if there's any maintenance issues or construction issues. That again will all be in the offering plan. If there's anything amended in the offering plan, that is then added for your review. So don't worry, an attorney will definitely be going over all of this with you during due diligence. So once your contract is out, you'll go through the due diligence, whether it's with an attorney of your choice or if it's someone you would be interested in me providing for you, we definitely can get that done. And the last thing I'm going to go over today with you is closing cost. We did briefly talk about it earlier in the video, but I want to break it down a little bit further for you so you definitely are informed on this. Closing costs on a new development are typically around 5% of the purchase price. Now, while as resale, you'll typically find them to be 2 to 3%. Now, you may be wondering, why is new development higher? You have a few reasons, but the major one is your transfer taxes. On top of that, you will have sponsors' attorney fees, working capital contribution, and resident manager fee. The most significant of all of these costs is definitely the transfer tax. This typically starts around 1.825% of the purchase price, but keep in mind, depending on the purchase price, that rate does change. If you have any questions about that, are wanting to know upfront before you start looking at homes, definitely reach out to me. You can meet me on Zoom. I have a QR code as well as my email. I'll also list it all in the description below. Definitely reach out. We can get on a call, talk through all of this, and make sure what you're looking for fits your exact circumstances and your criteria. While these costs may sound high and may deter you from purchasing in a new development, it's good to note that these costs can be negotiated. In today's market, we are seeing a lot of developers covering these costs for buyers, but it is something you have to submit in your offer. If you're looking to purchase in a new development, definitely reach out to me. We can talk about getting these closing costs covered for you and finding the perfect home in New York City for you. That's all I have for you today. It was great talking to you about new developments. Definitely reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to working with you. See you in my next video.